Hello, students. So I'm going to show you how to make variables inside of Twinery to solve some of the more complicated problems in Twinery. You don't have to use variables or programming in Twinery, but it does sometimes make for more interactive storytelling. So I have an example scenario here. It's a short one. I have a locked box called a lockbox, and I want the reader to grab a key in order to open the lockbox and then open the lockbox. Then they'll find a coin which is added to their coins. How do you do this? You can do this with variables. So first we'll use a variable to check whether the reader has gotten the key, and then we'll use another variable to check whether to check for how much money you have. Check this out. Anything in parentheses with any macros in them or commands will not be seen by the reader. So I'm going to type set here. This is how we set a variable. All variables are handled with $sign, so I'll put a $sign here. And then this variable can be named anything you want. Since I want to be able to remember it and it's about whether the reader has the key or not, I'm going to set has key as my variable name. And now we have to set it to something. So we're going to set has key to false. This is called a Boolean. Booleans can either be true or false. We also want the reader to have money. So at the beginning of my game, I would set money to 0. This is an integer. Integers can increase or decrease. They're numbers, right? When you get more money, you have more money, so your money number goes up. But this is so that you can remember it. When you buy something from the store, you can check whether you have enough money to buy it, if you want to put a store in your game or something like that. Anyways, so we have our variables initialized. Now, when you grab the key from the shelf, I want to set has key to true right here. Finally, you'll notice that when we open the lockbox, it always opens. It does not check whether the reader has the key or not. So how do we check whether the reader has the key? We're going to use something called conditional logic, which sounds complicated, but it's very easy. You say if, in parentheses, has key, and then you put what you want to happen in square brackets right after. So this is shorthand for if has key is true. Oh, and I forgot to put my $sign here. I'll remember to do that. So if the variable has key is true, then do this. You open the lockbox and find a coin. When you find the coin, you want the money to go up. So I'll set my variable money in here, money, to my variable money plus 1. This means take whatever money you have, set it to that amount plus 1, because a coin is worth 1 money. Then it'll read, you open the lockbox and find a coin. I'm going to say add a little bit more conditional logic, because what if the reader doesn't have the key? Then this would be totally blank, because all of this is locked behind you open the lockbox and find the coin is locked behind if the reader has the key. So I'm going to also add else the lockbox is locked. Find a key. And I'm going to say, I'm going to lead the reader back to grab the key, like that. Okay, one other thing that I want you to keep in mind is if I click test from here now, the variables we already initialized were initialized in this node. So that if I clicked test from here, this node does not have access to the variables. So first we have to set them up. So instead, if I wanted to test my game, I would have to go all the way back here and go into it. So now let's test it. Let's see. Open the lockbox. The lockbox is locked. Find a key. And then I will grab the key and then grab the key node. You get the key. I can go back to open the lockbox. You open the lockbox and find a coin. Now, the only other thing is our money is not available to the reader. So we're going to use a print function for that. Print our variable money. And that will read out whatever the variable money is. So we can say money amount and then print money. And that should let us see how much money we have. I'm going to grab the key, open the lockbox. Money amount 1 because we just found the coin. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you have questions. You can also look this up yourself if you have questions. And there's a lot more you can do with this. But this is a good starting place for you to be able to